Good Saturday morning. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Ramirez. We are expecting mostly chilly conditions today. We had the arrival of this cold front that came through last night. It's going to cause some breezy and chilly conditions. We will see some peaks of sunshine for today, but we are expecting much cooler temperatures tonight with the light freeze possible as we head into the overnight hours. Rain chances will return by next week. We're going to be tracking a coastal low that's going to be moving into portions of southeast Texas. That's going to bring some showers and some possible storms. But live look right now, if you are heading out the door, we're seeing those temperatures in the 50s and 40s. You will need a light jacket if you are heading out this morning. Tomball at 50, Galveston 54, Brenham at 42, Conroe at 48 degrees. As far as your today's planner, we are expecting those temps to really just struggle to make it out of the 50s with mostly sunny skies expected to move in at least by the 3 p.m. hour. Also keep in mind that wind speeds will start ramping up just a little bit as we head into the afternoon with the gusts up to 22 to 25 miles an hour, but they still will be out of the north, and we're also dealing with extremely dry conditions. And since we're seeing dry conditions, we are expecting there to be a pretty elevated fire weather risk for areas west of Houston. So today's forecast, highs in the mid 50s for much of Harris County. Areas along the coast, 52 for Galveston, 53 for Conroe, but partly cloudy and chilly conditions. But it's tonight where we're going to see those light freeze conditions. Temps likely to be just maybe a degree or above freezing. This is not a hard freeze. We are expecting it to be just pretty cold tonight, and so I don't think we're going to be able to need to wrap those pipes or take any type of winter precautions. It's always good to just have that done during the winter season. You can't hurt to do it, but we're not expecting prolonged hours of freezing conditions here across the Houston area, even though other locations across Texas will be enduring much colder temperatures. But we are expecting overnight lows to drop into the 20s, especially north of Conroe. 29 for Huntsville, 26 for Navasota, 31 for Katy, Leak City at 32 degrees, 42 for Galveston. So definitely cold conditions expected, but we are not expecting any type of winter mishaps or winter hazards here across the Houston area. The only hazard that we're really going to have to pay attention to today is going to be that fire weather risk. There is a red flag warning, which is a fire weather warning for areas west of Houston, where you see highlighted in red. That does include Grimes County. It does include Waller County, portions of Brazoria County, even Fort Bend County under that fire weather risk, and that's going to be from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. as we could see wind gusts up to close to 30 miles an hour in those locations. Also keep in mind that we are experiencing some very dry conditions right now. These are the dew points, and really when you have dew points that are in the teens, that is just extremely dry. This is more like desert type weather conditions, and so definitely keep in mind that that fire weather risk will be possible for today, all thanks to these dry conditions. Looking at our future track, we are expecting mostly clear conditions for much of the day, but I want to turn your attention on to what we're expecting to see later on tonight, which is around the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour. There is going to be some increasing clouds that are going to be moving into our area. It could be possible that these clouds could really dump some light, very light winter precipitation, nothing widespread, and it's not going to be any travel impacts, but you might see a few ice pellets that could be moved from these clouds later on today. So just keep that in mind as well, that between the 9 and 10 o'clock hour, we're going to get a little bit of cloud cover that's going to be moving in, and I wouldn't be surprised that since we're going to be much cooler in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we could see a few of these ice pellets probably fall from these clouds that are going to be moving in by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock tonight, but that's going to quickly move out of our area. Mostly clear conditions tonight, but we are not expecting any travel impacts. It's just the overnight temps that are going to be dropping into the 30s that will be bringing us those light freeze conditions. And so I think for the most part, as we head into tonight, that we are expecting lows to be about freezing for us here across Houston, and then in the 20s for areas north of Conroe, especially Huntsville and College Station. Still a little bit more warm across Galveston, but we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly just a bit chilly for the rest of the weekend. As we look ahead into next week, we are going to be tracking another weather system that is going to really bring some rain chances. We're going to see the arrival of this coastal disturbance that's going to be moving in, and that is going to bring some rain chances for us as we head into Wednesday of next week. So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, but also keep in mind that we are expecting a little bit of a warming trend through much of next week with high temperatures in the upper 60s. So Rain chances returning by Wednesday. We could see a storm out of this. It's too early to tell. I think for the most part, the severe risk is not there, but that coastal low very well could bring some showers for us here across the area for the middle of next week. Of course, we are tracking the Texans weather as they head off to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. They are expecting some pretty snowy conditions out there in the northeast. There is a weather system that's going to bring some winter precipitation. They could be looking at a mixture between sleet and snow. So by 2 p.m. it's 35 degrees, and then by 7 p.m. we will see the arrival. There's going to be a little bit of a gap, a lull of winter precipitation between the hours of noon and between 5 o'clock this afternoon. However, as we get closer towards 7 p.m., we will see, models are showing that we're going to see more of those showers move back in around Foxborough, portions of eastern Massachusetts, and that's going to bring in those snow showers. So that's what the Texans are going to be playing in, with feels like temps in the 20s here across the northeast, especially as they take on the Patriots. Keep in mind that the stadium is open covered. They don't have a roof over the stadium over there in Foxborough. But as we look at our watch party forecast for us here across for the Houston area, we are expecting mostly sunny conditions. Temperatures in the 50s. It's going to be a bit chilly. I think we're going to see mostly pleasant conditions, perfect for outdoor activities for us here. I think you're still going to need those jackets, but we're not going to be as cold as what they're going to be dealing with out there in the northeast and portions of New England. So as we look at the situation now, I'm kind of looking at our radar of what we're expecting to see, especially as we look across the country. I know there's a large weather system that is going to bring some winter precipitation as we head into the next 2 to 3 days. And so definitely looking at some of this snow actually moving into that area currently right now as we go into the next few hours as we look at the northeast, especially out towards Bridgeport, New Fairfield, portions of eastern Mass, but we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly clear for now. But you do have this wide swath of snow that is about to move off towards the east in that area. So they are probably going to be looking at pretty much ideal winter conditions for us, for them as they take on the New England Patriots. But as we look at our 7-day forecast, we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly chilly for the rest of our weekend. I think you're going to need those jackets, especially if you are heading outdoors. High temps are going to be in the 50s, lows in the 30s for tonight. MLK Day, high of 66. We'll have a gradual warming trend. We do have a little bit of a cold front that's going to be moving through by Monday, but we're also tracking the possibility for that coastal low to bring back some rain chances as we head into the middle of this next week. So we are expecting a little bit to have a bit of an active forecast for us here for the next 7 days, but we're still riding those roller coaster temperatures at least for the next 7 days, because we are warming up into the upper 60s, and then by Tuesday we are expecting those temps to drop down to about 57 degrees with overnight lows remaining in the 30s and 40s at least for the next 7 days. So typical winter conditions here across Houston. You will need your jacket heading out the door for each and every morning as we go into the next several days. And so as we take a look, if you're just now joining me this morning here on KHOU 11 Plus, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your extended forecast of what we're expecting to see here across the Houston area. We are starting off chilly. We had a cold front that arrived late last night that is bringing us some pretty chilly conditions with temperatures in the 50s, and we're going to have a chilly weekend, but we are expecting a light freeze tonight with overnight temps dropping into the 30s. We could be around freezing here across Houston, but this is not hard freeze conditions. We've already experienced our first freeze this year, and so we're not looking at any type of winter warnings or any type of freeze alerts here across the Houston area for tonight, even though other areas across Texas will be looking at much colder conditions. Here in Houston, we're going to be just a little bit warmer, but we're still dropping to around 32 degrees for tonight into tomorrow morning. Temps are starting off in the 50s across the area. Brenham 42, Bush Airport at 50 degrees as far as the rest of today. High temps struggling to make it out of the 50s for later on this afternoon. Keep in mind that as we look at the conditions today, we are looking at very dry conditions that are now in place. These winds have brought in some very, very dry conditions, and that really is prompting the National Weather Service to issue a fire weather warning for portions of just west of the Houston area. So as we look at those winds that could be gusting up to 25 to 30 miles an hour today, just keep in mind that the dew points, we don't really see dew points this low here across the Houston area. This is just really showing that the conditions are extremely dry out there as we go into the next 12 hours. And so usually when it comes to dew points is the measurement of atmospheric moisture. And so usually we get dew points in the 60s and 70s for us here across Houston, but a lot of times during the winter season, these cold fronts bring extremely dry conditions. And so when you compare that to the areas that have not received much vegetation for the past or much rainfall for the past couple of months, we will see the risk for some of those fire weather concerns for those areas that are west of Houston. So as we look at our situation for the next couple of hours, we are expecting mostly clear skies for this afternoon. But like I said, tonight we cannot rule out some possible, just a few little pellets of maybe frozen precipitation that's going to be moving through at least by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I know as we look at the cloud cover that's going to be moving in, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of those light little showers that could drop some frozen precipitation that's not going to be widespread, very isolated, and nothing that's going to cause any travel impacts. So we can't rule that out. And so as we head into the rest of the week, we are expecting the arrival of a little weak front for Monday, but also just keep in mind that Wednesday is when we're going to see the return of some rain chances, all thanks to a disturbance that's going to be moving through and bringing in those conditions that are going to be causing more rainy outlook, and especially as we head into Wednesday. We're tracking the weather forecast for our Texans that are out in New England that are taking on the Patriots, and just keep in mind they're going to be enduring some pretty tough winter conditions across Foxborough as those temperatures are going to be in the 30s. And also just keep in mind that as we get into the next maybe couple of hours, where they're about to see a pretty large swath of snow that is going to be moving into that area. And then as we go throughout the day, we will see a little bit of a break of activity. However, by 2 o'clock is when the game will start our time. We will see the arrival of more of these snow showers that are going to be moving in from the coast, and that's by 7 p.m. So we could be looking at a pretty snowy second half of the game as we go into the latter half of the game there. So definitely expecting those conditions to remain mostly not ideal for being outside out in the Northeast. I know they're used to that over there, but of course us here in Texas, we're not going to be as cold. We're going to be mostly sunny with temperatures in the 50s, and I still think that's a little bit too cold for us as we head into tomorrow. So you will need those light jackets if you are out and about watching those games. So as we look at the 7-day forecast, once again, we are expecting the arrival of freezing temperatures for tonight. It's a light freeze, not a hard freeze. We are not expecting any type of winter alerts tonight. We're just going to get pretty cold with overnight lows dropping into the 30s, likely around freezing, and then eventually highs are going to struggle to make out of the 50s for the rest of the weekend. MLK Day, if you are off from work or school, we're going to have a pretty good day. High temps in the upper 60s, but we do have a little bit of another weak front arriving that's going to bring temperatures back down to the 50s, and then showers once again returning by Wednesday. And that's all I have for you. This is our extended forecast on KHOU 11+. Make sure to tune in later today at 9 a.m. I, along with anchor Trayson Bragg, will have the latest news and weather headlines, and also we're tracking that weather out in New England for as the Texans take on the Patriots as we head into tomorrow. But we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly sunny and quiet for us, but just pretty chilly out there. So make sure to bundle up and have those jackets on standby. Have a good rest of your day.